All right, welcome back everybody to AEL Uni Rocket League season for Week 7, Season 2. I'm Kadius, joined here on the casting desk by Fetch. We doing well?
Yeah, we're doing pretty well. We are going to get probably quickly into these games because we are running a little bit late. But first of all, I might like to give a shout out to our fantastic, amazing, brilliant sponsors because, you know, we always have time for them, right? That's always something which we, have a moment to do. So first of all is going to be AOC, the best viewing experience. That's the tagline. They have some of the best refresh rates, some of the crystal clearest displays. Always catches me out, that one. Absolutely amazing. When events do come back, make sure to check out any AEL booth around you to see just how good these monitors are. Second of all, Chatime, our whole presenting partner. They are, one of the best bubble tea places around, or iced tea places around. I don't remember exactly what they call themselves. Pretty sure it's a bubble tea brewery. But yeah, they are fantastic. There are so many of them. There is like 120 around Australia, I think. Possibly even a few internationally. I tried to do my research on that one, but I fell asleep because it was like 2 a.m. But yeah, let us know your combinations. There are so many out there and staff who are passionate about what they do. Third of all is Indomie, the tagline, feed your game with Indomie. If you have any suggestions on the perfect way to cook your meagering, let us know on social media as well. And finally, Rig headsets, what it takes to win the best audio quality there is in gaming headphones. I have a problem with my voice. It's not my voice, it's just your headphones. You should be getting Rig headphones. And maybe if you have them, then you've got a reason to complain, but quite frankly, I think that definitely worth a shot.
Certainly couldn't have said it better myself. Well, as you mentioned, without further ado, I think we are about to hop into our game. Our first game tonight is going to be between the SUT Flying Pigs and UQU Purple, which, I mean, as we see here, UQU Purple at the moment currently going undefeated in Group C, so this is certainly going to be an exciting one as Flying Pigs currently in top 4, so definitely no slouch of a team, but they definitely do have quite an uphill battle ahead of them.
Yeah, but we're pretty much onto the pitch, into the game, good to go, exciting stuff. I'm interested to see how these games go. I think the first game, you kind of talked about it, and this is a whole day of Group C matches. Little Pete finds the opening score there for UQU Purple, and that's pretty exciting stuff for them, but I think that it's very unlikely that this is going to be an upset, right? Like, you kind of talked about it, UQU, they're looking at 7-0 right at the moment. Their opponents here are sitting at 5-2. It shouldn't really... Like, this is kind of that battle to see if SUT can hold on to a potential third spot to just make that qualifier into the final round. But against a team like UQ Purple, it's more than just a tall ask. It's absolutely, it's going to be a massive effort if they can manage it.
Certainly do have their work cut out for them here. Now, speaking of these players, obviously I'm not nearly as involved in the Rocket League scene as you are. Are any of these players particularly noteworthy for, maybe some of the viewers watching?
I mean...
Anyone to particularly have your eye on?
UQU holistically, they're a really, really good team. I think if I remember reserves correctly, they made top 2. I think they were knocked out in the grand finals by... I forget the team. All the team names are just going out of my head at the moment. I'm trying to run too many leagues. But yeah, the whole team. I mean, DZ's been around for so long. Has been a staple of the the scene. But I think on the flip side, SUT, Ella's, Finch, and Zero have all shown up well in the games they've won. But UQ is just kind of a different beast. They're 7-0 at the moment for a reason. They came very, very close to winning the whole season last season. Funnily enough, so it's kind of like. It's got to be a group effort. It's got to be that teamwork and coordination. And actually, SUT do find one off that pass and play. But I think that's a matter of it. Like none of these players are the absolute top tier players. Talent we're looking at, although McLaren and Little Pete are also fantastic. I think there are some players who outmatch them individually, but UQU, all of them are like experienced and gifted, and it's sort of got to be like a team difference, a whole team effort from SUT if they do want to kind of take on the back.
I mean, definitely a great start so far though. 1-1. Even game is certainly where you want to. I've seen this time and time again. Very much so a momentum-based game. It only takes one team kind of gradually getting the lead before things just get out of control, but great defense here so far by the Flying Pigs. Living up to their name, flying through the air, getting those saves.
Full help really coming up against a team with the momentum and height and the ability to play off these really awkward angles. McLaren goes for a shot. Waterfalls are down off the backboard. DZ gets it, doesn't quite find that angle though. Finch and Ellis both hugging that close post, so if they managed the quick counterattacks coming through, and that's something I've kind of liked. I kind of want to earmark a bit from SUT is the fact that they're finding counterattacks really quickly, and it's sort of what caught off, I think, what got them that first goal. Really catching you off guard. DZ is coming for another setup. Pass off to Little Pete, who just finds the perfect position And this is something which I'm a bit worried about. That this is sort of something which comes to the experience. DZ with a lovely little gentle knock there. Finch had to take Little Pete on in this 1v1 and really had no chance. Had to guess super early, had to get that pre-jump. But fundamentally, I think this is where Flying Pigs are going to struggle. When UQU are able to kind of open up with a big attack, if they're able to buy themselves some space on offense, like McLaren has just done again off that kickoff goal, that's going to be so dangerous. And it's kind of going to be like, it's going to be quick clears. It's going to be getting in the opponent's face for SUT, for the Flying Pigs. Because if they do step back, if they do give any space to their opponents in UQU, their series is basically as good as done.
Yeah, certainly this McLaren player already, as you mentioned, proving himself to be a player to watch in this series. The offense seems to be relentless.
One thing I am disappointed about this match, and this is like real serious analysis now, McLaren was running the
Flying Pigs, they're going to be able to put themselves up to a 2-2 with 1 minute 34 left on the clock here.
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of like one of those situations where I don't think the play was really going to work out there, so they kind of had to reset. But again, the counterattacks from SUT, they're really good at it. It's not something I expect UQU to give a lot of openings to, but if they do overextend, if they've got 3 players up in this aggressive line, it definitely can come through. Zero's trying to make it happen, of course. They've not quite set up enough speed on this attack, so it's going to come through fast. Ella's off the wall, doesn't quite get the pinch, but does take a pass to a couple of players. It's going to get pulled back by Lil Pete. Now it's UQU back straight on the offense as Deez is going to put it up high. Not the perfect position to try and play the ball back from, especially as Zero gets the priority on a 50-50. Does sort of effectively go the way of the side of SUT. Took me a second there, and Easy Grudge holding defense. Ellis tried to flick over the top, but too good on the defensive line is Lil Pete, and a relatively open goal here if there's no rotations coming back. McLaren might fed it off. The double touch doesn't quite work out. I mean, it wasn't quite a double touch. They'd already bounced. They played it off the ground, just to play off the backboard. But a big opportunity kind of whiffed there as the board jumped a little bit higher. Counterattack again by SUT, but this time UQU just didn't overcommit enough on that attack.
Seeing McLaren go for some fancy aerial moves here. Oh my goodness, barely missing by a matter of inches just there off on the corner. Now Zero, the one in control. Does get knocked out by a demo though.
Yeah, I mean, Elvis doesn't really have much of an opportunity for this one, but if they can find that 1 second goal, if they can get aggressive, if they can kind of get an awkward knock. McLaren's cheated up to the halfway mark. We have an awkward position given that this ball, the second it hits the ground, now is going to be out of play, but McLaren's still going for something at least, and Ellis can't quite get to it, so a very strong clear off the backboard. I feel like, given the difference between these two teams, 3-2 is a very different scoreline to what we're expecting. I feel like that's much, much closer. I'm expecting the 3-0 at the end of the day, like for the whole series. But maybe these games might be a bit closer than we might have thought.
Yeah, certainly is an exciting start. It's always great to see, the first game of the match go the way of a 2-3, especially in Rocket League, where, some teams really can, and I've seen it happen, run away with absolutely immense leads. So such a competitive start definitely does put some exciting hopes for this series, but that is going to be UQU expectingly taking out game 1 here.
Yeah, exactly. And like the fact that it was relatively close, but I think the worrying part is the fact that UQU kind of gave up those they kind of gave up those goals a little bit. SUT, fantastic counterattacking play. Like clearly they are a team where if you aren't able to put a goal away against them, they're going to have a good chance of scoring on you. Backboard play not quite coming through from McLaren. The momentum was a bit too fast for them. Lil Pete sets it up. DZ goes high, tries to waterfall the ball down. Almost gets that extra touch. It's okay, so McLaren's there to clean it up, but that would have been fantastic for DZ if it was just the slightest bit off the double touch. It's not even off the wall, it's off the roof. I mean, McLaren has to clean it up, but still, fantastic play from what looked like a really awkward scattered attack.
Definitely well played between these players right now. DZ will steal away possession of the ball right away. Actually still got it. Finch trying to take it down the side, but the defense right now, or rather the offense coming through from UQU is just too much right now. They're constantly finding possession of this ball and constantly chucking it at the goal. And one of those situations where eventually there's going to be a crack that presents itself, and I feel like that's going to be when UQU really exploit it.
Yeah, we are. Zero almost got the redirect on that shot with a lot of power. No one really perfect on goal. Pete kind of almost got the skill check there, like, in other esports when someone's like, hey, I'm going to give you an opening, try and punish it. And Lil Pete kind of does that exactly. It wasn't quite a fake because, they didn't even go up for it, but it does work out for them. Risky play, could have ended up in the 1-1 score lead, but UQ feel pretty comfortable in this game, as we expect from a team who is undefeated, as you expect to go. They're pretty well. I think it's a 7-0. So I think each team plays 8 games. They're 7-0 at the moment, which means that each team plays 8 games. Might be more in this group. No, that's right. Because we're gonna see SUT play twice today, right?
Yeah. Flying Pigs do have another game in Game 3 today, which is some exciting stuff. So even if they lose this one, they still do have a chance at redemption, taking away a W today. I believe their opponents are going to be Real World Flakes from QUT.
Yeah. So yeah, each team plays 8 games. Even if UQU drop a game here, that locks them into first place. It locks them into the top 3, I should say. So I think that unless this is a massive upset from the Flying Pigs and they take a game this afternoon, they are done. I don't think there's any chance for them to get in without maybe some like weird other sort of like other upsets and games going in bizarre spots. But fundamentally, I think like UQ Purple, open nets, pretty much guaranteed. The rest of the fight is going to be the Eshays, the Flying Pigs, and the Real World Fakes, all kind of fighting for the next position. I'm not even sure. Quick mental maths. Yeah, so Real World Fakes are out. This is pretty much the deciding game. If SUT can't make this, that's our top 3 pretty well locked in. They have to win this and hope the Eshays lose the next game just to have it, like just to make it at all. That's it. If not, then that last game is for pretty much for pride, pretty much to build yourself up for the next season, which is what Uni League is all about. As Zero finds one to take it to 2-1, a bit of a scrappy attack there, but it sort of works out after the after a bit of back and forth with DZ getting knocked out of the way and then a double commit on the attack, and it just doesn't quite go the right, doesn't quite get put in the right spot for the defenders to cover it.
Yeah, 2 members of UQU jump at the ball, and both of them unfortunately do whiff that one. Great shot by Zero, sinking it in from the side of the field. And it looks like they're right back on to playing defense, though. It seems like definitely this UQU lineup, their Ls are mostly presenting themselves as slight cracks, slight misplays, but I'd say the majority of the game is definitely them on the offense. But that's not to say that, Flying Pigs aren't definitely putting up the defense to keep them out of the net at the same time. And as I say, that Lil Pete almost sneaking one in from center field, but not quite. McLaren, again, not having the angle up with these aerial shots. So close.
Almost went for the reset there. Zero had to deny it. And that's kind of what we were talking about in terms of getting physical, getting aggressive. Finch is going to play it up. Gets a pass off Ellis. It's off the backboard. It's an open goal. No! Okay, we have a joke in AEL that if you miss an open goal, that's a half-point deduction, right? It doesn't actually very often mean anything, and it's not a real thing which we keep score of, but, it's a little bit of fun for the casters. So that was one, which we're going to have to, unfortunately, mark against SUT, but the counterattack comes quick and fast. Quick and fast, you know what I mean. From UQU, they find a goal in rapid response, and it shows that UQU can find quick counterattacks as well. It's not just SUT trying to find the pressure on defense on, trying to get a big clearance out. It's something which both teams can do. It's not a huge surprise. UQU have a lot of tools in their arsenal. Zero has potential for a good pass. I don't think quite got the touch they might have liked on that one, but does pull 2 defenders to commit to this. If Zero gets a nice passing play back, again, just doesn't quite get the touch. He's going to win the 50, and it's going to be set straight down the field, and they're going to be able to almost get a goal from it. Finch just there, able to make the rotation back, straight back to Zero. Ellis gets a good pass off, but there's just too many defenders here if they can't get something else happening. Plays it off the backboard. It's a great setup, but an even better save from McLaren. Now it's just going to be that quick rapid-fire counterattack again. It feels like right now, UQU, they can march the ball all the way up the field, but if they aren't scoring, they're getting scored on. They need to commit all 3 players to the attack to have a chance, and that means there's nothing back in defense. And UQU get to pull that exact same strategy, which SUT were trying in the first couple of goals they got in the series.
Yeah, 1 minute left, 3 points that they have to climb. You have to start to wonder whether or not they're gonna have to face another 3-0 here, and obviously UQU, very dominating team as we've talked about, but it's not gonna put good spirits into them for their next game today. So hopefully they're able to climb this one back, but with 50 seconds left, it's looking more and more unlikely as McLaren looking to go for some crazy aerial shots here. The defense proving
Zero's going to run it off the boards. I mean, it's going to be a matter of coming off this backboard, trying to set something up. 37 seconds, I don't think that's enough to make this 3 goals back. 3-goal window is pretty big, especially with how few mistakes UQ are making. They're holding back in this defensive line. They're kind of turtling a little bit. You know, I think it's probably fair to say at this point they're barely advancing over this halfway mark. McLaren just sort of getting in the road. The two players both committed for that one. I mean, McLaren does manage to run away from it, but I thought there might have been a 2v1 situation back on the defense. Look where it worked out as Ellis tries to intercept that, and UQ just playing exactly as they need to. McLaren sees an opportunity for a goal, but with 10 seconds left, that is the game 2 sealed. And now we're going to be going to match point. I mean, you got to think, right? It's fair to say, I think, that UQ are going to be taking a couple of match points here. And it seems like SUT's dreams of making playoffs are fading relatively quickly. Lovely little... Oh, the double reset from Lil Pete. Just showing off. Just having a good time of it. Not really ready to ground the ball yet. They haven't quite finished having fun. And McLaren gets the most awkward double touch. I think that almost looked like it was off the crossbar. Ellis just gets a very unfortunate touch. Sorry, the sidebar. Yeah, it is just off that sidebar. UQ Purple are really good. You wanted to ask me who to watch out for on these teams. Who is a good player? And I mean, just look at the talent on UQU. The double resets in each play, the double touches, playing off that corner. Yes, they may feel comfortable in this game against SUT, but teams who can pull that off casually in a game like this, especially in that 0th second, that's a show of skill, right? That's kind of your answer. You've seen it here in crystal clear high definition.
Yeah, definitely looking to be a team to watch, but I mean, a best-of-5 series down to game point, but I mean, a reverse sweep not completely out of the question. Stranger things have happened, so I mean, if there's ever a time for Flying Pigs to prove themselves, it's going to be right here, right now, as Ellis takes first possession of the ball.
Yeah, it's going to be given up, though, so they don't quite win that kickoff, and it might be DZ going for just another kickoff goal, and they find it. 0-1. Again, I think that this... hell of a run back for SUT. I don't really see them being able to make this comeback. I don't see the avenues in which they can play through. They're relying on misplays from their opponents. They're losing the speed. They don't quite have the answers to a lot of these plays in defense. So I don't know. I don't know if I really see this one. I think it might be a little bit sold. That's just it.
Have to wait and see. 0. Looking to get in their face right now. Ellis, unfortunately, a little bit too far to the left on that angle there. A lot of play in these games. Oh my goodness.
Big double commit on offense though, so Finch might be able to run this one. Does take a bit too much time passing it back. It's going to be 1v1 between Little Pete. Actually, took a bit too much time getting that one through. 0 goes for the pass, creates an opportunity, but 2 players going up, and again it was a double commit, which happening a fair bit with UQ here. McLaren tries to make some fancy footwork happen, tries to dribble it through the goal, doesn't quite work out for them. Again, Finch going to make a run, jinx over the top of DZ, doesn't quite work out, as actually DZ gets the better of that 50, and Little Pete's now going to be the one back in the corner trying to pass this one through. And almost accidental pinch, I think, coming off McLaren, but that's okay. They get the ball back, they're going to pass it off the wall. Burns a couple of defenders, but actually 0 passing this one out wide to Ella is a pretty good job, but they're taking up a bit too much of the same space. It's going to be hard to break this mid-pitch control, especially with how quick the rotations are coming through. Good intercept, and McLaren and DZ both good for that one, but at least they get the clear. It's a big clear as well. It's a booming clear. It just misses the goal. DZ going to go up high, tries to make that one waterfall down. Doesn't quite work out. Little Pete found him in the corner. Going to win a 1v1 against Ellis, and actually McLaren again just misses what was an open goal. Both teams half points off. What's going on in this game?
Yeah, definitely, it seems like this UQU lineup are always ready with those backboard shots, ready to set them up. Go for another one. Hits the backboard again. They've got another player ready as Ellis actually is going to be the one to sink that one over the defense of UQU and find Flying Pigs their first point in this game. And if they're looking to make a comeback, this is certainly the start that they need.
All right, do we classify that as a pinch? Because I think it technically was. I think it technically came off both players at the same time. Wow, I'm struggling to talk for it in a moment. Technically came off both players at the same time, and I think that technically makes it a pinch, but it was a 60km/h pinch, so I don't know if I really count that. They kind of both just like hand-held it through like it was the end of a John Lennon video, but you know what? It works. 1 minute left on the clock. They're going to find... Sorry, 1 minute left on the clock. 1-1 on the scoreboard as 3 minutes left on the clock. They find themselves the advantage, and for the first time in this series, SUT are ahead.
Splash, so satisfying.
Right. I love all of the little goal effects we see. The dragon is pretty cool. Maybe it's just because it's pink and blue and I'm biased, but there's some really neat ones. I like the one where it like forms a cube. It's just really satisfying. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I don't believe I have.
it's neat. It's just like forms a little cube. The cube explodes. It's all very like pixelated and Minecrafty. It's cute. I like it. But yeah, the big news in this game is the 2-1 advantage coming through from SUT. You never want to sit on a 1-goal lead, especially against a team like UQU. They can turn the momentum of the game around at a minute's notice. DZ finds a play as the rotations are still coming back from the side of SUT, though, so they're going to have to put some pressure on here. I mean, they measure the ball back. Ella's going for it once again. DZ playing a pretty committed defense at the moment. They really want to force some sort of overextension from SUT as they have in the past.
Certainly, we've got 2 minutes left here off the backboard. McLaren tries to set it up, but it's going to get intercepted. Now Lil P going to be the one to run downfield.
This could be a big passing play. I mean, DZ just gets to it. There were 2 players in the goal square who could have picked up that pass. So a huge amount committed to that play for the side of SUT. They do a good job not letting the clearance happen as McLaren gets a really good setup on that one. A good interception once again. It's the physicality which I want to see from SUT, getting in the road of UQU, getting in their faces, not letting them have these moments to set up the big aerial plays, the big passing plays, the backward plays we kind of talked about before. And it's sort of starting to work for them, you know? Like, admittedly, I think that there was a slight moment of a lapse in concentration from UQU to let that second goal in. I think the first goal is what I'm thinking of. But I love the fact that SUT haven't given up pressure. They've looked at what they have to do to try and win this game, get physical, take the 50s. Don't be afraid to go for these one-on-ones if you've got the coordination of your team behind it. A great touch by Finn. Should set it on the backboard. Is there anyone to pick it up? No, Lil Pete's going to be able to clear it out. But I love what I'm seeing from SUT. This is much better. This is much more to the win condition. And unfortunately, they do get counterattacked. I mean, UQU are so good at finding these, but at the end of the day, again, I like what SUT is doing. They have found ways to proactively play against their opponents.
Yeah, zero jumping a little bit too late there, unfortunately, and does miss the defense on that one. McLaren with a great sink, able to even things up 2-2 here now, and this is going to be Flying Pigs with their back against the wall. If they lose this one, likely not just going to be out of the game, but also out of the tournament season, so definitely is going to be a lot of pressure on their backs right now, and we'll see if that's going to cause some cracks. McLaren thinking it might be, but he's going to aim a little bit too far to the right, unfortunately, and miss that pretty free opening that he just had, and definitely making no time to stop and pause as they reset things. Going to get back in the driver's seat.
Disrespectful. The pass straight across goals as well, while there was a player there to cover it. Didn't work out. Like, didn't cost them anything. We're still at 2-2. We might have an overtime, but it was a bit disrespectful, you know? A little bit. Just a touch.
Always exciting, but one thing that definitely you can notice in the psychology of Flying Pigs right now is, you know, when they were up a point, they were willing to play that extra little bit of aggressiveness that you were talking about to really push them over the edge. But now that they're evened up, now that they do have, you know, their season slot against the wall, they are definitely like clinging onto it a lot more, going for, you know, the safe plays, going for the defense, reeling back when possession of the ball is kind of given over to the side of UQU, and, you know, that might actually end up being their downfall. We'll have to wait and see, as UQU are going to be the first on the assault here for the overtime.
The big thing is this is an overtime for the entire season. This is something which is so important right now. SUT have to win this and then take 2 more games. The amount of focus and concentration they put into that the last game, well, I guess the game we're still in, is massive. Lil Pete almost gets it. That set off the backboard was really good. Ellis doesn't quite take that pass. McLaren, to be fair, not biting, not getting up close. Bit of a slow play now. Both teams have to find a way to pull it out of this defensive corner. It looks like it's going to be DZ just trying to run a dribble. Duke's past 1, gets past 2 as well. Where's the support though? It's just going to be Finch passing this one back. Lil Pete was there behind, so McLaren's going to get the setup, but they have to still beat one more. They do! Off the backboard, and that is going to be the whole series for UQU. If I'm not counting incorrectly, that it should be 3 games to them. McLaren just plays with the backboard perfectly. It sort of was individual plays there. It was one team beating out another. Fantastic effort from them. And at the end of it, that's just UQU stepping up, making the individual plays. They were starting to get outclassed a little bit by SUT in those bigger plays. And it just, yeah, at the end of it all, they just had the individual answers. Great dribble by DZ, beating out 2. Lil Pete setting up for McLaren, and McLaren just beating out 2 more as the rotations came through. I know that math sounds a little bit sketchy for that. But at the end of the day, a fantastic effort by UQU. Unfortunately, that's SUT's season for now. We're still going to have to see if they can kind of contest the real world fakes at the end of the day, because that'll be an even matchup. There's both teams sitting at 5-3. That should be an absolute banger of a Rocket League series. And the point of Uni League is to keep developing your talent, is to kind of advance on what you've built, keep those structures going, and kind of pull your university up together. So I would love to see really big efforts coming out from both these teams for our final game. But I believe we have one more game before that.
Yeah, so our next game here is going to be UTS Eshays, who, as you can see, are currently sitting in our 3rd place. And they're going to be going up against Southern Cross Yellow, who are a team that I've actually watched before, and they showed off some fairly impressive stuff. But I believe the game that I was watching them play against they were playing against UQU Purple, I think. And therefore, unfortunately, they did get a little washed, and they are finding themselves down in 8th place. So if there was ever an underdog story here, this would probably be one of the places to see it, as UTS Eshays, kind of defend their, top 3 spot against one of the more bottom-tier teams who have only taken a game this whole season so far. So it should be a great one to tune into, folks, and we'll have that coming your way in just a moment. But in the meantime, we're going to throw it over to a quick little break while we set that stuff up, and we'll see you shortly. Alrighty, folks, and welcome back. We are about to hop into Game 2 tonight of your AEL Uni League for Rocket League Season 2. This next game is going to be between UTS and Southern Cross Yellow. So this is going to be, Fetch was talking about it potentially being a bit of a one-sided affair.
Potentially. Southern Cross have picked up one game. It was to a bye. Their opponents here, the UTS Eshays, have lost one game, and it was to UQU Purple. So, all that put together, this game probably is not going to be a close one. Just to put it that way, I know it's kind of like a bit of a blunt way of putting it, but I think this really is just going to be a display of what Southern Cross can do, like what they can show us before they come into next season. I hope we do see them, because I think this was a tough group. Like, Group C had so many great players, but the outside odds amongst outside odds, I don't want to sugarcoat it, I don't want to lie to our fans. It's almost impossible for them to win this one, I think, given just how incredibly good UTS are looking at the moment. But I think we're pretty well ready to get into game, aren't we?
Yeah, should be. We're just waiting on the players at the moment, but definitely...
I'll give them a thing to get in then.
If you are a Southern Cross Yellow fan, potentially, if you're in here, maybe know some of the lads hopping into...
Okay, my game's glitching. Sorry, I swore on stream. My apologies.
They're hopping into game.
My whole game is just glitched. My apologies.
That is unfortunate to hear, but I'm sure we won't have much of a delay. Now, I do believe that I did see Southern Cross Yellow play a match in one of my previous casts, and it was against UQU Purple, where, understandably, after we just saw, the caliber of team that UQU Purple kind of are undefeated in Group C, them losing that one, not too unsurprising, but because of that, obviously, I haven't really seen the exact... potential of this team, and hopefully maybe, against the team that's a tier lower, I'll see them pull off some more exciting stuff, because I do remember the players being a little on the bold side, going for, crazy aerial shots and things of that nature, but, it didn't really end up going anywhere due to the nature of, UQU just being such a dominant sort of team. So hopefully we see a little bit of that shaked up here, but I mean, I'm excited to see definitely the Eshays come out ahead here and, really cement themselves as third seed, start to kind of compete against some of the players that are in second seed. Obviously, we have USID OpenNet Esports coming in second, who are also undefeated, but now one win behind UQU Purple. Obviously, UQU Purple have played all 8 games now. OpenNet Esports have only played 7, so they could also go 8-0, but... Eshays, they are 6-0-1, so if they win this game and then USID lose their next game, should I say, that is going to tie them both up to actually be tied for second place. So Eshays do have a little bit riding on the line here, where they do really want to make sure that they don't drop this game to Southern Cross Yellow. Even if, it does look like an easy game, there's still definitely quite a lot on the line.
They are locked in terms of their placements as well. So they know exactly where they're going to end this season, and that's kind of it. At the moment, we're waiting for an official word, because I think, I don't know if I clicked something wrong or what happened, but I was suddenly in the game when I was not meant to, because I was alt-tabbed trying to check something in the settings, and yeah, now it just joined the game, and I don't know if we have to restart, so I'm just going to wait on official word for that.
Certainly. Sounds good. So I think the best thing to do here, honestly, folks, instead of listening to us ramble on, is just throw it over to a little bit of our great AEL tunes here and come back after a very short break when hopefully we have everything sorted out. So sit patiently and we'll be right back with AEL Uni Season 2 for Rocket League.
just jumping straight into the in-game.
Alrighty, folks, we are going to be hopping right into our second game. Definitely a lot of unfortunate circumstances there, but here we are as we're hopping into our first couple of games between the two teams. We'll actually have to change the team names as we didn't have enough time to do that, but I'm sure Fetch can give us some lovely commentary on what's going on while I sort that out.
Yeah, I mean, like we kind of identified it before, it's really unlikely that Southern Cross come away with a win here. You know, they're not quite as experienced. They're coming up against a very, very good team, and they got, again, this really unlucky draw into Group C, which is so rough given some of these fantastic talent. I mean, to be fair, the talent all across the AEL University League this year has been fantastic. I've been incredibly impressed with the skill level they're putting up. But realistically, as actually they do get scored on right as we say it, yeah, Southern Cross don't have that same kind of, like, I think, quite experience and synergy yet. It's something which I'm hoping they build up if they keep going, because I'd love to see them next year. I'd love to see them kind of come back striking. But it's something they're not quite developed yet. They're a bit slow on the rotates. They don't have that same control. They don't have that same experience and coordination as some of the other teams do. And a team right now, like UTS, at the moment, their record is 6-1. And again, the only game they've lost is to UQ Purple, who are one of our best... I don't know about best 3 at the moment. I think there's been some debate about that. I'd still put them in the top 3. But a team who is just absolutely phenomenal, you know? And that's the only game they've lost, the only series they've lost, I should say. And it makes you think that a team like Southern Cross wouldn't stand a chance. But I'd be pretty proud of myself if for every goal Southern Cross are able to manage, for every, like, even if they can get a game, if they can manage a game against UQ Purple, I would be absolutely popping off if I'm a member of Southern Cross, because that's the level of improvement and, improvement and, I guess, like, effort, reward for your effort specifically, that you should be really proud of. As it is getting demoed, they're straight back on the back foot here. Fisher Boy is hanging off in that defensive corner. Wash Troops Main, which is also, again, one of my favorite names. I think I've said this a few times. I think Wash Troops Main is just a fantastic name. Because, kind of miss Hoops. Haven't played it, you know, in a while. I don't even know if it's still on. Like, quite frankly, I just hit go whenever I get into lobby, so I don't even know if it's in the game anymore. Oh, Flicky misses a pretty... Not quite an open net. There were 3 defenders there, but they might have had an opportunity to find an angle as those 3 defenders were quite static in the goals. But, yeah, like, I think that this one is going to be an exhibition match of sorts, as obviously the standings have already been set.
Yeah, certainly some exciting stuff there, and Watch Tubes Main, I do remember being one of my more favorite Southern Cross Yellow players, as he actually sinks one in, and that is going to be Watch Tubes Main picking up a nice little goal here for Southern Cross Yellow, which is going to tie them up 1-1 in this series against UTS Eshays.
Yeah.
Some exciting stuff here, you know, the potential to, you know, as we mentioned, maybe, you know, take a game off of this third place team and, you know, even get the upset victory can definitely be some crazy stuff. So I feel like this is going to be the point of this series where UTS Eshays really kind of pick things up, put themselves into gear and make sure that, you know, this match is going to go in their favor, because I'm sure, you know, they don't want to have any chance of, you know, losing their precious, you know, potential at that second place seeding out of group stage.
I mean, yeah, there's still going to be an interesting battle. I think that that's still yet to be fought, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, maybe actually I might have my I might have read I might have been misremembering the schedule here, but I'm pretty sure that one's still one to be played yet. But fundamentally, this is sort of the game we have at the moment. I just realized my scoreboard's gone. I don't even know how that happened. This game is just not being my friend today. It's being mean. It's just like, nah, you're not getting get to cast Rocket League the way you want. But at the moment, UTS have the ball. They're running up high. They're trying to set some sort of play forward. A pass off to Flicky on the side. It's pretty good, but they have to keep this pressure going on. Mr. Marcy doesn't actually quite find that pass off tonight. Who is sitting back, was in the right position. I mean, possibly some sort of quick fire counterattack could come through to quite work out there. Quick rotation, scrambling back for Southern Cross, and they do make it, to be fair. It's a really good effort by them, but... yeah, that's about it for now. I don't think they're going to be able to get too much more of this counterattack.
And Knight getting a nice little intercept there, and Washed Hoops Main going to be the one on the offensive once again. Ooh, that is going to get sunk in. Flicky with a great shot over the top of the defense here of Southern Cross Yellow. Milkman tries to get it off the side. Unfortunately, whiffs it just a little bit over his head, and Flicky was there for the counterattack, came in strong, and that is going to be UTS Eshays taking the lead in this first game of the series.
Yeah, and like you said, the fact that SC, they're kind of keeping it close, they're not giving up too much here is really good. I think that we still have some more to see from UTS, and hopefully more to see from both teams, as often the case here. Players sometimes take a bit to warm to a series, get into it. Interesting little touch there coming through, but yeah, players sometimes take a sec to kind of warm to these series and to get into the flow of it. And I feel like UTS definitely have more to show. And again, Southern Cross, hopefully they do as well. Milkman right here trying to play defensive. We've got the cam going, but isn't able to do much disruption, but at least the pressure Fisher Boy is putting on is enough, at least for now. Knight going to disrupt that play. Mr. Massey going up high. Will try and get it off the backboard. Doesn't have the quite the angle for the double touch, but that's okay, because pass off to Flicky was good, and Fisher Boy didn't quite have the angle to save it. 3-1 to UTS. This is a bit more like the scoreline we were expecting.
Yeah, Flicky so good at making these attacks off the side, hitting them up over the defense. I'd say it's a little bit more of an unorthodox attack compared to what I've seen a lot of teams go for. Usually, the AEL special, you could argue, is definitely going for those aerial shots, hitting them down. But, Flicky really showing how good he is at, sitting on the ground in front of this net and just kind of weaving shots over the defense and showing how, viable of a strategy that is. And, 3-1 with only 7 seconds left. I think this one is definitely going to be going the way of UTS Eshays as they put themselves up a nice little 1-0 against SC Yellow here. Looking to make it a quick set, which I can respect.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, again, it's kind of not a game which is going to have huge implications on the standings. I don't think much at all. I mean, if UTS do drop this, they're in a very awkward position, but they are guaranteed at least third spot. Southern Cross, no chance of making it. This will be, this will be their final game on stream, so it's just a matter of whether or not they can give us a good series. And I'd hopefully like to see at least 4 games. That's the goal, right? That is the absolute dream, especially if you're a Southern Cross player trying to figure out how to make a few of these pieces work. That'd be lovely. That'd be a nice time.
Certainly would, and there's only one way to make sure it happens, and that is going to be getting through this wall that is UTS Eshays in their way of, as you mentioned, it's not really going to have much implication on the tournament. Obviously, if Eshays do lose, it's going to have implications for them, potentially, losing that one little chance they have at, evening things up to potentially go even with the current second place in the group. Which is going to be some exciting stuff. But for them, it is really all just about pride, bragging rights, showing that they have improved over the course of the season, getting at least one proper victory in their group stage. Because I remember, years ago, when I was first getting into esports, being a competitor in a tournament, just with my friends, throwing together a team, most of us not really competitive. Things like this did happen, where in our first tournament we ever played in, I believe it was something like a 16-game season in a group stage, and I think we lost like 15 of them, and we ended up winning our final game against the team that was currently coming second in the whole tournament, and that just absolutely made the whole season for us, made it entirely worth playing. And it's that kind of experience that, we see Southern Cross Yellow playing for right here. It's just that pride of, making sure their time has just been worthwhile, worth spent, at least taking something away from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I was having a bit of a chuckle at that. I don't know what that was, but it was attempted at reset. It was attempted something big. But no, that's exactly it, and that's one of the things. I mean, we talk about some of the other teams and some of the other groups who are now contesting some of those top spots, taking top 3 placements pretty regularly, who started off as teams who were struggling a little bit more. Flicky goes for another reset, pass off to Mr. Marcy. But yeah, you're exactly right. That is exactly the point of AEL University League. It's the fact that you get an opportunity for players who aren't as experienced to mix it with some of the top talent in the region. There are some players here in our tournament who are RLCS players. They've done really well. They're winning tournaments elsewhere in Oceania. Milkman with a really fantastic save and attempt at a counterattack is going to be shut down by Flicky. But yeah, that's it. That's exactly what we want to see from AEL University teams. This is why I hope this team stays together and kind of takes the experience, because they're definitely learning every game they play, and that's a massive thing. Watch Toopspade gets a great knock on Denied, and that was actually just a really good setup. It just comes off the backboard. Have a look at this. So Massey and I think Flicky to try and miss that one. Knight's the only player left, and Wash Hoopsmain just knocks him out of the road, gives a passing pivot just in case. And that was it. That's like actually a textbook goal. Also, can I just say, Flicky's wheels are very nice.
Yeah, certainly a very stylish fellow.
That's like it's an important thing, right? You can't just win, you have to do it with style. Flicky's like cartwheels, I'm into them. I'm big into them. I mean, that's Knight getting a goal to even up this game as, you know, we're still kind of going tit for tat right at the moment, but that's just something I felt like needed to be mentioned. You know, something which is important. Flicky going to go up high, try to pass the backboard, going for a double touch, doesn't quite find that angle. Knight shoots to be able to put this one in, but the crossbar again! Crossbar definitely playing as the fourth player right now for Southern Cross. Mussy tries to go very fancy with this one. Tries to hand off to Knight, but Knight not quite in the right position to achieve that first touch. But, you know, again, at least the attempt was made. They're trying to get tricky, they're trying to freestyle a little bit, trying to make it a bit stylish. Oh, that's right. No, sorry, I forget. The rule in AEL broadcast is if someone does a flip, it's a musty. I don't care if it's not a musty or if it's not a musty, it is. It's a musty now. Fisher Boy has a bit of an opportunity, but not quite there fast enough as musty. Yeah, there we are. That was musty. The flip. That's what it's called. Anyone who wants to correct me in the chat, I'm sorry, you're wrong. It's musty.
Ooh, Flicky sending it right down center field. Wash Hoopsmain does have the defense though, but Flicky back on the attack for the second time. He's chasing this ball, expends the boost up off the side, looking to send it back to center field where Mr. Massey was waiting, but he got in the way, and that is going to create a nice little opening here for Milkman to seize things into his favor, put this back down to the side that they want to have it. Now Flicky looking to go on the attack.
Knight just puts in that gentle touch from the tires was perfect and just had Knight sitting there off in the pocket. Like, have a look at this. So that gentle, lovely little tire touch might have come off the front a little bit, but it just slows the ball down, gives plenty of time for Knight to come in with a rotation, just pinch it in. Well, not pinch it in. Pull it in. Just gentle little flick into the goal off the side. Lovely stuff. Pretty fundamental goals coming in from the side of UTS, but at the end of the day, they've been giving us some aerials and things like that. Knight just doesn't quite get that one. Washed Hoopsmain off the kickoff.
Yeah, real fast goal here. You know, he catches it when everyone's scrambled from the start of the game. He just finds the line right through the defense. There's no one there to cover it. Knight, not quite enough boost available to get there in time, and he is just going to be able to snag that one up nice and quickly. And Knight almost doing the same thing, actually, to put them ahead once again. Flicky looking for the aerial here, but it's going to go a little bit short, I'm afraid. Knight over the top, and the defense, unfortunately, whiffing just a tiny bit too low. We see Fisher Boy able to get it once, but not able to get it a second time as Washed Hoopsmain just doesn't get himself up in the air in time, and that is going to be UTS Eshays putting themselves a point over with only a minute 48 left in the round.
Yeah, and I mean, Knight's going to try and play it over a few of them. I mean, don't really need that goal, but a one-goal advantage is sort of, it's not really a full advantage, right? You know, that's it. You want that double, you want that 2-goal buffer at least, because of course, that 0 second where anything can happen, it's Rocket League, or even one slight misplay, one good read from your opponent can turn the game back to even. So, a 2-goal buffer, it's much better, much better for the side of UTS. So I'm sure they're pretty happy with that one. If they can get another one, that just kind of seals it. But with 1 minute 31 seconds left, all you really need to do is hold on to a couple of goals lead. Knight ends up getting pinched out quite wide there, and Fisher Boy almost has a chance to make a bit of a run. But you know, UTS indexing things more defensive. Yeah, there's more defensive positions.
See Mr. Massey trying to take this one over the defense. Washed Hoopsmain there with the receive. Oh my goodness, not going to win out. That nice little aerial duel bounces off the backboard, not once, but twice. Hits it up. Is there any follow-up? Doesn't look like it. Milkman going to get himself into possession of the ball. Fisher Boy going to send it downfield. But again, the offense here coming through from this UTS Eshays lineup, proving itself to be a little bit relentless. They're trying to claw themselves back, get this 2 points, but UTS Eshays are just not going to want to let them. They're going to put it up to a 3-point lead, and with 37 left on the clock, can't help but feel like this is surely a UTS 2-0 in the series already locked in. At this point, they're just looking to rub salt in the wound, maybe make it 4. We'll have to see if they're going to pull it off. But either way, Southern Cross Yellow really do have to start making some adjustments in this third game if they want to crawl themselves back for the reverse sweep.
And that, again, like we kind of called it last game, unlikely to happen. Pretty well, like it's just got to be an absolute mountain task. UQU, even with their freestyles, even with their showboating, they're still able to take this second game, making it a bit more of a freestyle tournament, making it a bit more fun, trying to make it, a fun game for everyone, giving some experience and things like that. I appreciate and respect that. The 7-3 scoreline, though, probably tells a bit how the difference is in this game. A 1v1, Washroom's main actually does manage to find that one. Milkman going to clear it out wide, but with 15 seconds left to go, this game is sealed. It's going to go to a couple of match points. Okay, is it 2 match points or 3 match points from here? I'm never quite sure what it is. Do you include the point which you're tied as a match point, or is it just 2?
What?
Well, you know when you call it, you know how like if you've got 2 chances to close out a game from match point, you call it 2 match points, right? So in this situation, well, that's supposed to be the terminology, but I can never remember exactly where you count it from. I'm a fake job. What can I say?
And that is going to be UTS Esports, or UTS Eshays, from UTS. Going to be taking that game 2. Currently 2-0 in the series. Looking to make it, a little bit of a wider lead, potentially bring things up to a nice clean 3-0, or will Southern Cross Yellow maybe show some signs of life here and bite back in this third game?
I think they've been showing signs of life. I think it's just been a bit rough. It's just they're up against a fantastic team, and that's kind of the long and short of it. There's not much more to say about this series outside of the fact that UTS is just a phenomenal team. Some of the shots they were finding, some of the flips, some of the resets, some of the goals, some of the passing plays, all of that coming together to make what is a fundamentally very good team. And again, a contestant. They're contesting the top 3 spots in what is a fantastic group. Like we talked, we just saw UQU show just how good they are, and UTS are sort of answering that. Even if they aren't able to take, a top 2 spot, this is the sort of group which makes me glad we swapped to like a top 3 make it through, like a cut off at the top 3, because clearly this team deserves to be in the finals. Just because they were seeded against 2 other phenomenal teams in the same group doesn't mean that they don't deserve a shot. Flicky goes for the reset, doesn't have an angle just yet as Milkman just pulls it away. The ball's still in front of goals. It's really just a matter of if they can find it. Mr. Marcy passes it all the way back to Wash Troops main. Flicky's got to make this save. Rotates around the back post, sort of, I guess. But at the end of the day, still saves it. 4 minutes. Still just breaking into this game as Mr. Marcy is going to set up another attack for UTS. What have they got? What are they starting to come together? What plans are they scheming? As Milkman actually managed to break the midway mark pretty well. Can't quite get it past Marcy, who's just going to carry it back through. Only one defender back at the moment. Knight had been cheating up. But again, there's not too much more to be had from this one, because as we kind of said in the last game, if you're a team who isn't as good in the air, who don't have that same skill, sometimes getting aggressive, a great attempt from Knight, once again not quite being made. But yeah, get aggressive, get physical, get in your opponent's face, deny them the space they need to set up these big plays. Flicky has an opportunity, pass off to Mr. Marcy, actually doesn't, just kind of holds that one into the wall and loses possession.
Yeah, Wash Troops main gonna try and get it out of their corner for once, but no, the relenting aggression right here from Eshays, and Knight's just gonna get a nice little easy air shot right over the defense. Fisherboy was there, but I guess he was just caught sleeping at the wheel. Doesn't get the save. I guess he maybe wasn't expecting the angle. We see him go for it, but a little bit late on the reaction times, and that's going to be UTS Eshays grabbing themselves the first point of this game, as they are 2-0 in the series. 1 more point is all it'll take for them to grab themselves the win here, and Milkman, though, not going to make it easy on them, as Southern Cross Yellow even themselves up to a 1-1 position.
And sort of plays the hero there a little bit, managed to find individual plays. Sometimes one player stepping up can rally the team. We have seen a few individual plays coming through from the side of Southern Cross Yellow, but, they haven't really managed to get sort of too much off it. Like, it's sort of been these individual play and then just a clap back from UTS, which gets them even more goals. Yeah.
Exciting stuff, Milkman. Looking to set things up center field, but Knight carrying it all the way, potentially. Flicky hits it off. Great pass into a beautiful aerial shot is going to secure the second goal of the match. The UTS Eshays, look at this aerial movement, just absolutely beautifully sets it up for his teammate to hit it off, completely diverting the defense off to one side and then crossing it over to the other side of the goal. Really nice maneuver there from the Eshays lineup, and as you said, just a phenomenal team. Really glad that they are definitely going to be making it out of this group by the looks of things, and showing exactly what they can do on the stage, on the knockout stage.
Yeah, and hopefully they do make a good showing of that, because they are playing pretty well here. I mean, this is sort of one of those games where, like I said, it's an exhibition, it's a show of what these two teams can do. We've seen how great some of the Southern Cross counterattacks and hits are, just like this, just exactly like this from Milkman. I mean, look, you're able to be in the right position, giving that respect, playing that defensive role. But again, yeah, the passing plays, the coordination, everything. Mr. Marcy has an open goal here and of course, finds the net. But yeah, you're right. The skill and display from both these teams is really good. I've enjoyed watching this series, but it has fundamentally just shown how good UTS are.
Certainly are a team to watch. We head in here, Knight. We're going to make things happen. Just reset back here. It does look like there's going to be a little bit of a retreat as Knight waiting for an opening, and he might have found one. Hits it up for Massey, who sets it center field for Flicky, but no, the defense was there. As you can see, these three players just working in unison, getting the pass from 1 to 2 to 3 in such quick succession like that, being in the right place at the right time. You know that these players, they've got the Discord on, they've got the comms going, and they know exactly what is happening at all times, setting the plays up as they happen. Really just an absolute treat to watch, and I think, overall, that is what is setting them apart from this Southern Cross Yellow lineup, and is enabling them to just make these kind of leads and these victories possible.
Yeah. And I mean, like, that's such a fundamental part of it, right? The coordination, the communication, the ability to have fun with the game, and to keep keep in mind where your mates are, know what's going on, have that familiarity, and also have the ability to keep that mental going. Is both those things are really incredibly important parts of it. I mean, I think that none of the teams who are successful would have it any other way, right? Like, I think they all build their success off that, of being able to kind of keep calm and work together, and all of those parts which come with playing definitely well. And as it is, this series though, I think it's a bit far out of the hands of Southern Cross, and again, it was great to see them on stage one more time. I think they are really, like, a team to watch if they keep developing and keep working hard. I think this whole Southern Cross Uni, they can play off each other, they can get some internal scrims going, and I'd love to see that. I'd love to see what they can do in the next year. I don't even think they're necessarily going to be making the top 3 in the next season, but give it a few more, and if they work hard enough, I genuinely think that I would not even be, maybe the second half of next year, we could even see them sort of making those top 3 spots. If they, again, work hard, they work together, if they stay together, if they scrim with each other, with the other Southern Cross teams, I think all together they could come up with something which could be a winning formula. But it's not going to happen this season. It is going to be UTS who are going to be able to find themselves almost another goal there. Just going to bounce it through. Not quite working. Play it off the backboard, and that's going to be UTS taking a 3-0. 2 clean sweeps today, but this third game, it's not for any particular standings, but it should be a fantastic match. 2 teams who are currently at 5-3. One team who's already lost on stream, who's already warmed up, raring to go, and another team who's fresh, keen, and hungry for another win to be put on the board. And I believe that game will be happening just after a break.
Yeah, certainly will. So make sure you stay nice and tuned in, as one of the teams that we just previously had, and that is, of course, the Flying Pigs, are going to be kind of making their way at having a little bit of a go at dealing with this next team that they're going to be rearing against. And that is, of course, going to be the Real World Fakes, who, you can look at the leaderboard here. They are, also not super high up. They're right next to each other, basically. Obviously, Flying Pigs did cop another L, which I don't believe is shown on here just yet. So they are both 5-3. And so this one is really going to be, who is the 4th place team? Who is the 5th place team? It doesn't really matter, because neither 4th or 5th makes it out of group stage, but it's all about, bragging rights, saying, oh yeah, this is what my team made it out of in the group. So we're going to throw it over to a quick break and hop right into that one. It'll probably be very quick as we are running a little bit late due to technical difficulties. So be sure to stay tuned, folks, and we'll catch you for that game in just a moment. And welcome back, one and all, to our third game of the night. This one is going to be between SUT's Flying Pigs and none other than, of course, you know, it's right down here. Although the name hasn't changed. It's going to be between none other than another one of our teams that is going at 5-3. It is
so, yeah,
QT,
the two teams
Real World
in Group
Fakes.
C. The two teams in Group C who have gone 5-3, they've just missed out. This is for the fourth place, which, of course, as you said, doesn't quite make it through, but it should mean these teams are evenly matched. They're tied up at the moment. They've got to show us which of the which of them believes they're better, which one's hungrier, which one, if it did extend to four teams, I should say, which one would be the one to take it. Sir Cookie trying to take this midfield possession right away at the moment away from SUT. Doing a good job of it, but doing a good job of at least holding the line, but they just haven't been able to win the possession just yet. Ellis is going to flick the ball off the backboard. And yeah, and again, it's this kind of slow game, right? It's this kind of slow opening to a best of five we often see, where the teams don't commit too much too early. They both want to play safe. They don't want to, kind of make any silly mistakes until the game's really started. And we have the F1 car. I can't tell which one's which. I'm not smart enough. Not enough of an F1 fan for that one. But credit to Ellis. I'm sure Form will be very proud of that one. Goon flicks out wide. But yeah, again, it's sort of a slower paced start to the game. I think both these teams very talented in their own right, so we will see the speed pick up as we go. Ellis with a great pass off pressure on goal, but no one really there to pick that one up. Zero's extended a fair bit, and actually it's a great opportunity. There's a third player there. Finch finds it. A fantastic goal, that one. Another great goal celebration as well, but have a look at the play. The setup for Zero was fantastic. Zero winning that 50 in just a perfect position, and Sir Cookie tried to cover as many different angles as possible, but it just doesn't work out. Fantastic opening for SUT.
Yeah, certainly the way you want things to go here, and that's going to be the first goal of SUT Flying Pigs. And you know, I definitely do think that in terms of, you know, the blood pumping, the hands warm, I think Flying Pigs do have the advantage here. You know, they've just come off a game against, you know, one of the best teams potentially in the entire tournament. So, you know, after you know, playing against that, even if you do kind of get your butt handed to you by them, you know, at the same time, it's great warm-up, it's great practice playing against such a high caliber of player and a high caliber of team. That, you know, when you move down to these lower teams, you know, suddenly you can start exploiting some of the weaknesses that they show that, you know, the team earlier didn't to a bit better of a degree. So I do think Flying Pigs do have a bit of a momentum just because of how the night has been scheduled going into this game. So we'll have to see if that pays off, and so far it is.
Yeah, and it's also, the flip side of that is that, all right, QT, they've got the tape, you know, they've done the research. They sat down with a clipboard and with, like, the whiteboard, and we're like, all right, we've got it. We know everything that's going to go wrong. But yeah, like, I do agree, SUT, but that's only for the first game. You know, after that first game, you got to think that their opponents are going to be nice and warm. They're going to be ready to go. Ella's in a pretty good position to get that one, but just didn't quite get the landing right. Finch is playing on this halfway mark and jigging over the top. It's a relatively open goal. So Cookie overextended. It's going to punish them with another goal here. SUT take a 2-0 lead. And this is what you want in a Rocket League game. You want to be making sure you're nice and early, getting this 2-goal buffer, maybe indexing a bit more into the defense, but really putting the pressure on your opponent to come back into the game.
Yeah, certainly well played there from Flying Pigs to, you know, put themselves into a 2-0 position. Very dominant start to game one. But again, both these teams, folks, are completely tied up for 4th and 5th place, so neither is looking like they're going to be making it out of Group C, but, you know, just in terms of bragging rights, one team against another, this is quite literally deciding who is in 4th and who is in 5th, so there's a lot to say at the result of this match. It's definitely going to be one to watch, as Ella's going to get a nice hit over the top. Gooner's going to be the one to meet the ball.
Yeah, but again, they're struggling to break this, like, they're struggling to really definitively break this midfield area, right? It's the control in the midfield from the side. Oh my god, I vault tap, sorry, I just realized. I was like, why is, half of that sentence, I was like, why am I not getting sound? There it is, that's much better. From the side of you, no, wait, it's SUT, isn't it? These acronyms, the U's, the S's, the T's, they're baiting me. But yeah, right at the moment, QT does not be able to find really much beyond that halfway mark. They've managed to break it a few times, but not being able to keep possession. Finch just put the ball up high once again. They're keeping the pressure on. There's no more follow-up from that play, but they don't need it. They just need to buy time for the rotations back. And it's fantastic. Lethal Ethan has a bit of an opportunity, but it's just not, you know, it's not quite enough here, as Ellis just puts the ball once again in the defensive half of QT. They've got to try and find a big clear. It's just not quite working for them. The few times they do find breaks, the defensive line from SUT is just there to kind of answer. Goon with a good attempt here, has a couple of players in the pocket which can set up a passing, some sort of passing play, goes off the backboard. Sir Cookie has an opportunity, but goes a little bit low, actually goes off the backboard again, but Lethal Ethan not able to play the crucial third there. As now to race back, Goon just gets flicked a little bit, so they're going to be out of the play. Ellis tries to go for it, Zero does almost get the touch.
Lethal Ethan with an insane save.
Just coming off the corner and being able to pull that one through, a fantastic effort.
Absolutely well played. Lethal Ethan with maybe the best save I've seen all season. Absolutely crazy off the side, completely intercepting that one and shutting it down. And now it does look like this is going to be where Real World Fakes want to make the most of that save. They want to try and get this goal as early as possible so they have as much time as possible in the next ball to even things up 2-2. We'll see if they're able to make it happen. Right now, they can't get the ball out of their corner. The offense from this Flying Pigs lineup proving itself to just be a little bit too troublesome, as Ella's going to get next possession of the ball. Hits it back yet again. 10 seconds left, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do this one. 5 seconds. And Flying Pigs with a dominant start. And we said, you know, they were warmed up. Does make sense. But SUT Flying Pigs find themselves at a nice 1-0 over their opponents here.
But it was so strong, right? It was Clutch saves admittedly coming through from the side of QT, but they shouldn't be put on the back. They shouldn't be putting themselves in that back foot position where they have to be making those saves. It's just sort of consistent. It's them being in a spot where they have to make those saves time and time again. SUT, they are able to put 8 shots on goal to 1 from QT. QT found 1 shot on goal in that entire game, and it shows, right? They couldn't actually score off it. The 8 shots, if you are able to fire off that many shots in a game, eventually one of them's going to go through. Like, very few teams are able to defend that much of a kind of rapid-fire, quick rotation attack. And, you know, even if QT are playing well through defense, they're not playing well enough. I want to see them break that midfield mark. I want to see them get some big clears and put pressure on the offense. It is easier sort of said than done, admittedly, but it's still something they fundamentally need to do. Ball being played up to the halfway mark. And I've got the numbers instead of nameplates again, so this is great. But I'm sure we'll be able to figure out who the players are in due time. You know, Demo goes up, Zero taking out Lethal Ethan, so possibly an opportunity again for SUT to find themselves a quick scoring moment. And off the crossbar, Finch, that was a bit stylish. That was a little pretty.
Yeah, Finch making himself look good here. Hits it up. Goon goes to the defense, but unfortunately just whiffs a little bit on that one. And that is going to give Finch the opening he needs to just bounce it off the crossbar, as you said. And give, you know, again, Flying Pigs their first goal of the game. They're looking to make this one another 3 of the night. Certainly 3 quick games. There's going to be certainly some competitive fiery spirit.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, if you don't have that, the series is going to be going to a 3-0 sweep again. But we know that QT are good enough. They haven't looked quite as strong in this year as they have in past, but that's just because of the roster changes and things like that. And to be honest, mostly just a huge dump of new talent. That was probably a weird way of putting it, but a huge bunch of new talent coming into the series, into the league, and showing what they can do. Once again, though, SUT, they're on the attack. They've got the pressure. They double commit for it, though.
Lethal Ethan's got this
open.
open.
Hurt a little bit, and
Finch, the only one there. He gets the demo.
But it just doesn't quite work through. I mean, they got the demo, but they needed some sort of support there. The breakaway was good, but not quite good enough.
Definitely do agree. Things were looking good there. That's just going to be such an anticlimactic goal as it just rolls in.
Well, I was actually going to say that was a really good passing play. I mean, the setup to put the ball in the right spot, yes, it was a big overextension from SUT, but they got cocky, they got up and aggressive, and QT found the avenue to kind of play that. They had really good awareness of the players, and maybe it was a bit lucky, but it worked out quite nicely there for them. Sorry, you were talking, so I assumed you had that one. I was like, I'll leave it. Yeah, you got this. And then it sort of, nothing really happened, so it's all good though. But yeah, right again, straight away, SUT straight back on the attack.
Yeah, certainly, looking to get themselves back in the lead once again. As I say that, though, we do see Real World Fakes looking to set things up against the the Flying Pigs goal. So many teams tonight.
I mean, there's less than you expect from 3 series, given the fact we've had, you know, an overlap and whatnot. But yeah, there is a few. Goon's going to try and push this one up to get another opportunity. So not quite there for the counter attack. And now we're seeing SUT back on defense, and they're looking pretty good as well. The fact that they've managed to put themselves in such a good position for that attack, but they just aren't able to quite capitalize on it. From the side of the QT, of course, this is Circle can try and put the ball up high. Not quite the angle they might have liked. They can set up some sort of waterfall or backboard play. Goon tries to pick it up, but there is just not enough speed on the ball. That said, I like the established attack QT have got. They're going for it very, very well here. It does get dispossessed, and the ball is just going to be run down the other side of the field. An awkward touch from Ellos almost put the ball in dangerous position for the defense. It doesn't quite happen. The Zero just gets demoed. This should be the ability to break through the halfway mark. But once again, no fast clear, no quick counterattack coming through for QT, and they've almost left this goal open.
Have to wait and see. 2 minutes on the clock. 1-1. Can definitely go either way here. Both teams looking dominant so far. It is going to be Finch, though. That takes the ball down towards the goalposts of Real World Fakes. Goon is going to bounce back, get it back towards center field, but Ellis shutting it down off the backboard. Zero potentially getting a shot. He misses. And that is going to be a bit of a scramble, but things are going to be reset back to center field.
Ellis trying to make a bigger push up here. Has an opportunity again to try and cut out this opportunity for an overtime. We've still got plenty of time of gameplay left. Might even be an opportunity for a couple of goals. A block on defense right at the moment. It's QT trying to slow the play down, trying to keep it in this defensive corner. The cookie passes it out wide. Ellis has an opportunity, got the player there to pass off. The player is rotating back, doesn't have a huge amount of boost to work with. Only had 22 left in the tank at the end of that play, so wasn't able to put it in just the right position. But SUT, again, they're setting up, they're rotating through, they're playing the attack really, really well. Zero flicks the ball up high, but that is a bit of a dangerous position. A double commit from the defense, but no one there to kind of punish it either. So this actually might be QUT mounting a bit of a comeback counterattack. Not going to happen just at the moment. But again, the play's paused. The play's slowed down. Both teams are poised for a punish. And honestly, it almost feels like we're kind of in that overtime already as Ellis breaks the defense a little bit. But once again, no players coming up with him. Never mind, Zero is there, but it comes off the side. They just didn't quite find the angle. After all of that waiting and all of that patience for the side of SUT, a slight misexecution is going to cost them that opportunity. Now it's QT on the counterattack, but also, once again, not finding anything. It's a bit scrappy now. We've kind of lost some of that poison composure we saw earlier in the series.
Certainly a great little demo there. Onto Zero. Poor Zero. But yeah, it's just really back and forth. Just super scrappy right now. It feels like both of these teams are not giving them the same openings that we saw previously. I feel like, you know, if this does go to overtime, it's going to be maybe a lengthy one.
On the topic of openings and things like that, it was a massive opportunity from QT, which they just weren't able to quite capitalize on as SUT just dropped that touch. I don't think any of the players were really expecting that. Cookie grounds it, and we have an overtime, and this one's very exciting. As you said, the game score right at the moment, SUT going up 1-0, but the QT side, they're firing back very, very quickly. This overtime, they've got the advantage in terms of having the ball up their end. It's something they couldn't manage to find too much in that first game, but I'm not sure they can quite capitalize off anything. The play is here, it's fast, it's aggressive, they're finding a bit more speed, they've got the player's advantage to double commit on the defense once again. But, once again, QT just can't punish it.
Yeah, Zero looking to hit this one up in the air right now. Goon potentially for the follow. Finch is there for the defense. It's up off the side. Who's going to receive it? It's going to be Lethal Ethan off the backboard. Anyone there to follow it up? No, sir. This is going to be, indeed, going to be going the possession way of Flying Pigs once again. Or is it, as Real World Fakes continuing to put the offense and in overtime 1-1? You can only imagine the pressure that must be mounting between these two teams. If you keep up offense like that, eventually cracks will form as there is a scramble right now in front of the goals. Real World Fakes somehow regaining control. Lethal Ethan looking to take it downfield. There's a demo, but it doesn't even matter. From the beyond the grave, post-mortem, Lethal Ethan sinks it downfield. Absolutely beautifully done, and that is going to be QUT Real World Fakes actually taking out game 2.
As excited as I am for it to be evened up, of course, that was a very anticlimactic overtime. A lot of whiffs, a lot of stress. I think these players are feeling a little bit tired now. It was just a bit of everyone kind of tripping over themselves. You know, a lot of double commits. I think like double commit after double commit after double commit. Both players whiffing. It was a bit rough. Lethal Ethan did manage to find it, though. That's like the important thing. It was a goal, still going over the side of QT, but yeah, a bit anticlimactic there, huh?
Certainly, but I mean, congratulations on being, you know, the first game of the night to not be a 3-0. Always great to see. And, you know, these players are about to hop in. They're looking to get right into this game 3. This is going to be where things get exciting. This is going to be where it either results in, you know, one team taking the next couple games, or we're going to go all the way to game 5. We'll just have to wait and see. But either way, this game looking to be off to an explosive start already.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like they've kind of taken a breath, regained their composure just a little bit. Right now, it's Lethal Ethan trying to set up some sort of aggressive play. Goon's just holding back, ready to receive something again, ready to establish this kind of midfield pressure. It's something QUT did step up a little bit, and they get a huge amount for it. The ball's just stuck on the goal line itself. It just didn't quite go over. It was like pixels away. Yeah, that was a bit of an open net miss, so maybe not quite regained the composure fully. Lethal Ethan picking up the cartwheels, the wagon wheels this time. I like it. It's good. Carrying it through. And Goon's going to try and set up some sort of counterattack. But again, I like the fact that QUT, they're in a much better position. Sure, they didn't execute, but they do manage to get a reset and a pass off to Lethal Ethan. It's good stuff, but it just doesn't quite find the goal. Again, these teams slowing down, giving each other a fair bit of respect in this play. But fundamentally, it's QUT who are just holding possession just that much stronger.
Finch going to chase this one. Gets it off the side. Lethal Ethan looking to take it up over the top. Goon is there to meet him off the backboard. Is there a follow-up? Lethal Ethan trying to get in position. No, just not there in time. Does get a cute little hit over the top, though. Finch gonna miss, unfortunately. Only one defender left to get through now as Zero poises himself in front of the goal, but Ellis is actually going to be the one to intercept that one from up top. As now it is going to be real world fakes, the ones on the defense here. No. The pressure from Flying Pigs looking to be quite surmountable.
That was so unfortunate. Both teams just whiffing, just not being able to build a coherent play in that one. And again, it's going to be the tiredness, right? It's just going to be how tired they are. A complete whiff on the defense. Zero just goes up for it. And right at the moment, it's just, it's just SUT. They aren't able to find that sort of ability to put these consistent attacking plays on. They're just kind of throwing the ball forward and not finding too much more, not building that sort of attacking pressure they had in the past. I mean, they are able to stop the clears coming through, and that's definitely worthwhile. Whoa, Ella's almost made them look like kind of nerds a little bit for that one, as Finch actually goes up for a very aggressive play, loses the 50 just in front of goals, but that was a very dangerous position. UT definitely have been put on the back foot a little bit more. Maybe this is an answer for SUT, but again, they have to make something happen. They just can't just put the ball close. They have to actually find an attack eventually before QUT finds some sort of clearance.
Finch looking to take this one as far as he can. Nice little demolition onto Goon. Not using the player disadvantage to much effect though, but Flying Pigs grab themselves possession of the ball here. Almost 2 minutes left in this round, and there is yet a goal to be scored. It just shows how close these two teams are together. As again, attempt after attempt, defense after defense, these teams slowly whittling away at each other, and it seems almost like less of a battle of mechanical skill and prowess and more of a battle of mental fortitude. Who can go the longest without making some obvious slip-up, some big opening for the other team to just, kind of make their way through and abuse the chinks in the armor, the cracks in the stone, and really kind of put themselves ahead in this game.
I actually really like the mechanics. I really loved the mechanics on the show. I mean, there's been a lot of resets on the plays. It's just been a few unfortunate. It's been unfortunate. There's been a couple of those mishaps and things like that. And possibly it's tiredness. Possibly it's just the it's the end of the season. They've played a lot of Rocket League and they're maybe not used to playing as much. But I've actually really liked the mechanics. Zero is going to try and contest Goon. Actually, I'm just going to drop back. Goon, given some time to work with as well, is put very, very aggressively. Managed to push the ball pretty aggressively, but does eventually get dispossessed. Lethal Ethan picks up the ball, and now QT setting up an attack. 0-0 with 1 minute to go. This game's about as close as you might like. Teams regaining some composure. Lethal Ethan puts it off the top, but no third player there to put the ball in the goal. Now, Zero, they have the ball, but again, you have to find a clearance. You can't just give it back up to QT. That was a bit of a whiff. That was a big bit of a whiff, and Finch wasn't quite ready to put a big capitalization on that one, but Zero is, and there is an open net, and finds it. This game is just, we have a little bit of a saying in AEL, right? And it's the idea that whiffs are contagious. I think that a couple of players have made some very small individual mistakes here, and then the other players kind of get wrong-footed, and it takes someone to eventually sort of take that breath, regain composure, as I've said a few times already, and just sort of put the shot on which needs to be made. And fundamentally, that's I think what that's just what Zero did there. And maybe it opens the floodgates. Maybe SUT just find goal after goal after goal, because with 28 seconds left and the 0 seconds, maybe we could see something coming back from the side of QT. But again, they are the ones now who have to find the clear. They're the ones who have to pull this ball out of their defense.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see as Finch hits this one towards center field. Lethal Ethan looking to grab it. 9 seconds left in the round. Goon looking to sink this one forward. It's up in the air right in front of the goalpost of Flying Pigs. Is there anyone to take it? Ball yet to hit the ground. 1 second sitting there hanging on by a thread. Oh, it's a bit of a scramble, but no. Flying Pigs SUT. It's going to go their way, and that is going to put themselves a nice 2 wins over 1 in this series. They only need 1 more now to take it out in the best of 5. We'll have to see if they're able to pull it off, but certainly an impressive showing so far from both these teams.
Okay, yeah, no, fair enough. Fair call. Trying to keep it positive. I like that. I think that they do both feel like they can be playing better, and I want to see that happen in the next few games, because they are good teams, right? They're contesting against some fantastic teams in this group, and actually putting up good scores, staying positive in the group, not just mentally, but also in terms of their actual scores. I think that this game has been a little messy, a little awkward, a little all over the place. Maybe it is because the season is basically over for both of them. But I really do think that if they take a second, whoever has the better mental can rally and pull this one back. At the moment, SUT have a big advantage. They're 2-1 right now. They can close this game out if they close the entire series, I should say, out if they take this game. But they've got to do it. You know, they've got to kind of find, keep that composure, I guess. And QT, they showed really good positioning and good movement around the field in that last game. But they have to bring it back and they have to find a bit more consistency. Goon finds an almost open net, but just doesn't have the angle because they're a bit pressured by the defenders. And now it's Lethal Ethan doing it again. If they keep kind of chipping the ball forwards, they'll eventually find something, but they need a bit more speed on this attack.
Yeah, again, folks, for anyone just tuning in, this game is going to decide 4th place in Group C. So maybe a decent bit.
If SUT win, yes, it decides 4th. Elsewise, we go to a tiebreaker in the 5th game of the series.
But definitely a lot riding on the line here between these two teams, mostly for their own kind of, you know, personal story of rivalry and growth within their group. It's always great to see. And I mean, you know, this kind of AEL environment is really the best place to, you know, garner this kind of competitive experience, because there's no amount of, you know, solo queue play that you can get that it matches, you know, the same experience you can get of being in a tournament. You know, there's an old Dota saying that came from Fear, who is a long-time, you know, international veteran who's been in multiple TIs, even won one of them. And when he was asked, you know, I forget who asked him, what exactly is the best way to prepare for TI? He said famously, you know, the best preparation for TI is TI. And it's, you know, the more practice you have in a competitive environment, the better you'll get at it. And that's exactly what these teams are really trying to garner right now. And as you can see, as these games go further and further into the series, Game 4 here, there is just going longer and longer without a single goal scored, as both these teams are just kind of bringing themselves up to each other's level.
And QT are struggling to find their best gameplay right at the moment in, so far, the whole series, I should say, balancing on the edge of one overtime. That's even more stress, so I don't hugely like their odds if they aren't able to pull something out in regulation time. But they have plenty of time to do it. 3 minutes left. Still more than half of this game going to try and find some sort of opening. Really, really good effort to put the ball in the awkward position for Finch. Goon couldn't quite get a perfect clearance on that one, but no one was there to set it up, so it was okay for then. Zero didn't get a very strong clear. Goon might capitalize off it. Actually, sorry, that was Lethal Ethan who got the tick. Actually, wait, no, how did Lethal Ethan... Okay, let's have a look at this one. Let's have another look back. It's flicked up high here. Zero managed to get a good touch on it, but also get a touch on it, but it wasn't quite strong enough. And Lethal Ethan somehow... Oh! No, I realized what happened there. That was an own goal. You have to have one every stream, and that was it. And that's so unfortunate. There were two players both going for one defender and one attacker, and the defender just got an awkward back touch on it. That's tragic, but it is AEL, and we have to have one per stream.
Yeah, certainly very tragic to watch, but... Flying Pigs, you know, they do have the game advantage. Even if they lose this one, they still have one more shot at taking out the series, so... Definitely nothing too crazy to fret about, if that is the case. Oh my goodness, Finch.
Right across the field! We have to have a look at the speed on this. 150 kilometers an hour! This pinch was so good! This is the stuff which takes teams from being good to being great. The ability to pull that one out of your back pocket. I love the yeehaw for that one. I'll absolutely give it up. That was such a fantastic play. They just held it in defense. They saw, we got this. Made the risky play as well, because if they mess that up, they are losing both of their defenders in that play. Both of them have to set up in the recovery. If there's a one smother, then that is so dangerous. Goon gets demoed, and gosh, that's going to be such a good mental reset. Well, not even that they necessarily needed the mental reset, but sort of wake-up slap for SUT to be like, oh, we have this series in the bag. 147 kilometer an hour pinch is massive. Ellis as well, getting that one. Sets up what I'm pretty sure was a double touch. And SUT just looked like a whole different team. I said that both these teams have so much more to play. Ella's with... what was that angle? It was so tiny. I mean, they did take the entire net to kind of score it, but players like that are not going to be defended even up to some of the higher levels of this University League. And SUT just look like a team possessed right now. They are playing so fantastically. Finch just flicks this one out. They've got themselves a 1-goal lead with 1 minute 20 seconds. It's not quite enough. QUT, they've already found one. They've got to be hungry for this play. They try and smother it across. A really good cover by Goon, but it wasn't quite good enough. They want to try and hold this mid-pitch control. Two defenders, both in the same spot. I guess one's in the middle field. Kind of anyone's play. Lethal Ethan going to try and pass this one back. Has a 1v2. Actually does manage to get a great job of it. Finch just gets that touch. An incredibly important one to pull this one out of goal. Tries to go for the counterattack and might just have it. If Lethal Ethan can't get this, it actually finds Sir Cookie who gets it, and Zero takes off the pressure, expecting a bigger clear there and wanting to be back for it. But Ella's now on the back foot. You can see the pressure of these teams going, and Goon just flicks it in. Just a solo effort to put it in the top left. And just fantastic work. Ella's not quite getting the touch they might have liked, and this game is getting really exciting.
Yeah, 2-2 here, tied up. Potential for overtime with 47 seconds left unless one of these teams does make the miracle sink. Obviously, a lot of pressure on Flying Pigs right here, as this is going to be, 40 seconds for them to sink a goal and close out not just the game, but the series. So they really are going to want to be putting their 110% into this. And so far, making a good attempt. They do have the ball in. Not quite, as I say, a caster's curse, I guess. It was in their goal, and then it got tossed right on out. But no, they're back on the offense here.
And with 18 seconds left, it's got to be the next goal wins, right? You don't expect there to be more than one goal in the rest of this game. It doesn't matter if it's regulation, it doesn't matter if it's overtime. Goon almost goes for the perfect position, but they just didn't quite find the connection. So dangerous there.
Finch fakes him out! Oh my goodness.
It's okay, because Goon is still there. This play is still on. 1 second remaining. If a player can keep this ball elevated, the game won't stop until it bounces. Goon just going to let it go, because they see it's in a dangerous position. Here we go. And overtime. Once again, this series is just so intense.
Yeah, Flying Pigs really are probably sweating buckets right now, one could say. As Lethal Ethan trying to battle with Ellis here to dribble this ball downfield. It does look like Finch is doing his best to keep it away from the goal, but the offense coming through from Real World Fakes right now is just so decent. And they are just doing such a good job at matching it. But Ellis actually might just knock this one downfield. And there was no one there. QUT getting caught asleep at the wheel, as we see. He gets it past 2, and then there's no one there but his own partner, Zero, to defend that goal. And with a splash, that is going to be the series ending with SUT coming out with a nice 3-1 victory. And they are going to take that one in the bag.
Yeah, exactly. That was the series-winning play from Ellis there. And a fantastic effort from SUT. They do a really good job of sort of managing to find a secure on that play. I think your OBS Ninja might be lagging a little bit there, according to my display, but that's fine. That's all right. That happens. But yeah, that was just a fantastic effort fundamentally from the side of SUT. They fought through, they won a couple of games back to back, and both of them in overtime. And that's what won them the series eventually. And again, we've kind of mentioned it wasn't for much more than bragging rights and the ability to come through next year and feel that much stronger about your gameplay, feel better, feel like you're taking on teams who were around the same level as you, meaning that you can then kind of focus on getting better, improving, and challenging for those top 3 spots, because they were so close. I think that at the end of it, it's going to be only 1 or 2 games in it for them. 1 or 2 games, if they had gone a slightly different way, could have been the difference between them making the top 3 and not. And I don't know, given the strength of the other groups in Group C, I don't think it's likely, even if you run that tournament again, that they would make it with their current form. But a bit more improvement, and absolutely they could come back. We talked a bit about Southern Cross in a couple of seasons. They could be contesting those top 3 spots as well. I reckon next year, possibly even for the side of SUT. So it's fantastic to see them, and hopefully we do get to see them back in the next season.
Certainly. Well, that is going to be all the games that we've got for you tonight. 3 great games. We had obviously started off with 2 3-0 sweeps, and then our final game, definitely quite competitive, but it is going to go, Flying Pigs their way. And, it's only fair, they comped a 3-0 L at the start of the stream to one of the best teams in the tournament. Only fair that they finish it off the stream with a hard-fought, well-earned victory. So congratulations to them. But before we close out the stream, Fetch, if you want to just mention once again our lovely sponsors real quick, and give them the love they so deserve. And
sure. Yeah, sure. Of course, we have a presenting part at Chatime, AOC Monitors, Rig Headsets, and Indomie.
definitely big shout outs to all of our wonderful sponsors, and we'll have to catch you next time, folks, right here if you want to stay tuned and catch all the games, not just for Rocket League, but all the games. We got Dota 2, we got CSGO, we got Rainbow Six Siege going on almost every single week. In fact, every single week, quite literally. And as well as that, I believe most of the games next week are going into the very coveted knockout stage. So make sure you don't miss any of the action, as that is going to be obviously the big double elimination bracket. One of the most exciting times of the season. And to not miss a single game, make sure you follow right here on obviously at AU Esports League on, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all those good places, and on Twitch, of course, at AEL Uni and AEL Uni 2 to catch all of the streams. As well as that, of course, you can follow us, shameless plug, Kadius Cast down here, as well as The Far Fetched, to hear all of our terrible gaming opinions. And until next time, we'll see you then.